we met a friend in a bar and she was living here already, and we desperately wanted to live here, and asked her how she'd accomplished it, and she said, just do it. And it felt a bit flippant, but you really just have to do it, and the island finds a plan for you.
Forget what you were, who you were, what you did in your previous life. When you come to Ibiza, you've got good chances are you'll start from the bottom and have to work your way up. I packed up my job in recruitment and I bought a van. I was thinking, I can bring a van to the island, I'll be able to earn with it in some way. I thought it'd be easy. After being here for about 4 weeks and not picking up any work, I went and had a little word with the island. I sat on the cliffs overlooking Esquibels and spoke to Tanit. It was my first kind of hippie moment, and just said, look, you've got me here, what do you want me to do? And the next day I got a phone call from a guy that was looking for somebody to move speakers and sound equipment around the island. Ended up doing that for 2 years. It was our first winter here. It was November, and it was our wedding anniversary. We didn't have a lot of money because it was the winter, and I decided I would design and draw a card for Mandy for our anniversary, and I designed this sugar skull with little bits and pieces in there that were relevant to our lives. And a good friend of ours saw it and asked if I could blow it up and put it on his wall. So that was my first commission, if you like. And I bought a bit of computer software to draw it so that I could blow it up and it wouldn't lose quality. And that was, it kind of started from there, really.
So intercambio is the concept of exchanging things, time, goods, your skills, but it's about choosing where you put your time and effort. Just giving your time gives you an opportunity for people to see your capabilities, and gives you opportunities for jobs, for relationships, for some amazing experiences to happen. And you've experienced that as well with doing your art.
Yeah, I mean, I've swapped artwork for some chiropractor care that Mandy needed when her neck was damaged. Our first car, we still own actually. A friend of ours was selling it. She liked my artwork, and she said I could pay for half of it in art and half of it in cash. I mean, the island is definitely a magnet for creativity. Artists, poets, filmmakers, you know, they've been coming to this island for years. There was an influx in the 50s and 60s, and that has continued right up to the current times. It's an island that really embraces and accepts and pushes your creativity and your individuality, and it embraces it and really kind of, you know, brings the best out of people, I think.
Yeah, the island definitely pushes you to be who you really are, and I think that's what enables you to be creative, because there is a creative within all of us, but often that's suppressed doing the job that you're doing the journey that you're doing, and that is just totally different here. It enables you to get in touch with the creative inside. I came to Ibiza first in '95, and just immediately it captivated me, this sort of energy, this magic, call it what you will, but there was something wonderful here, and I promised myself that I would come and live here. And until I could come and live here, I thought I would just come on holiday, and I came back again and again. I came back in '97, which is when I met Scott.
Yeah, so I came for the first time in '97 with a load of mates. A friend of mine was DJing here, and I managed to meet my future lovely wife in space. Yeah, so putting myself out there, giving services for free, for charity, etc., has really helped me as an artist and a DJ. I've benefited massively from both of those things, really.
I think we've both been able to do that, haven't we? That it's just enabled us to do so much, to meet so many people, that there's real magic on the island. You just have to seek it and acknowledge it and reciprocate.
Yeah, true.
4 or 5 years ago now, I came over on holiday just to get a blast and away from the usual rat race in the UK. And I came over, and as soon as I remember coming out at the airport, and standing in the taxi queue and just knew, had the feeling and just knew that this is where I was going. I always dreamed about living in the sun, as everyone does, but I just had a funny feeling that this was where I was going to come. And within a matter of 24 hours of being on the island, I'd made my mind up it was going to be, it was only a matter of time before I got here. So what I do on the island is I cut hair, I look after people's hair. The barbering and the hairdressing that I've done has just been incredible. The places I've been, the houses I've seen, the people I've met, first and foremost, obviously. But you get into these scenarios and you meet these fantastic people from all walks of life on this island, any nationality. It's just unbelievable. It's a melting pot. It's a melting pot of all these different creative people that come here, enjoy the island for all the same purpose and reason. And you know, I just love it. I just love that. The more I've met tons more people with it. The Mini was a vehicle. I brought a little white Mini over to the island, and basically the idea was that anyone's hair who I cut, I got to sign the Mini like an old school autograph book, just to collect all these people and all these amazing people on the island. Oh, my art is very, I try and go down the contemporary realism route with it. My girlfriend, one lazy day here, I was going to be on my usual trip down to the beach, and my girlfriend was like, what are you going to do? And I was like, nothing, just go to the beach. She said, why don't you paint a painting? And I was like, nah, I don't paint, you know. And a lot of my family, I've got a lot of family members are super artistic. So I thought, you know, I'd have a go, and that was when the art was born. My art was born. I think art is anything from just whatever people create and people see, and it switches something in your head, or it makes you feel an emotion or an energy. Anything like that is art to me, you know, just anything at all that switches you and makes you think about the image or the sculpture or whatever it is that person's created. If it flicks a switch, then it's good art. Ibiza gives me a freedom, it's given me a freedom to do the things that I want to do, and I definitely think people allow people to be whoever they want to be here, because no one's judged. No one judges you for anything you do. People support you, and you could be, you know, I could be cutting hair one morning and like helping somebody out with the most random thing in the afternoon. It's still one of the few places that allows you, for example, to come out of a club at 6 a.m, travelling at 100 mile an hour and continue that speed, or go to the beach and chill out and reverse that speed to 0 miles an hour. And it allows you to do that here, and it's just unbelievable that you can do that. And there's always people that you can do that with here every day, which is great. To sum it up in one thing, it's just an amazing energy, and what you take from that energy that suits your lifestyle and your path, then that's the energy that you pick up on and the vibe that you pick on. But so far, my energy line has been absolutely brilliant. My golden thread I've followed since the minute I got here, and it's just going from strength to strength to strength. It's great.
After a few years in London, it was time for a change of scene, and I moved to a place near Barcelona and was hanging out there for a couple of years. And then Ibiza gradually had more and more magnetism for me, until the point when I decided I wanted to move to Ibiza permanently. And I called my friend and I said, let's move to Ibiza. He said, yeah, let's do it. And we decided to make a list. It was his suggestion. Let's make a list of exactly what we're looking for, and we'll put it out to the universe. I said, oh, great. I'd never done that before. I thought it was a cool thing to try. So we made a list. First thing he said, look, he pulls out Google Maps and he puts his finger and he's like, okay, trust me, this is where we need to be. And I said, okay, well, I've been up there once or twice. It was San Miguel area, northwest. He said, trust me, northwest of Ibiza is shanty, it's chilled, everyone's relaxed. He said, this is the place we need to be. So I said, okay, great, I trust your judgment. Okay, so that was the first point. He said, also, second thing on the list, we need a professional music studio so that you can get straight to work. I said, well, that would be incredible. I mean, if that could be possible, wow, that would be something, wouldn't it? So I said, if we're going to have this lovely place in the northwest of Ibiza with a music studio, then it would be lovely to have a little swimming pool, don't we? We're going to need a little swimming pool. And then we wanted a little garden so we could do a bit of Tai Chi. So a little bit of space, and outdoor space, and the swimming pool, the two last things on the list. And anyway, so we put it out there, had dinner. The next day we go for a drink in Chirincana, this beach bar, groovy kind of pirate beach bar near Santa Eulalia. Bump into a friend of mine who says, wow, she's got a place that she's moving out of that could have two people moving into it in a couple of months' time, which was exactly when we were looking to move. And so I said, wow, that's incredible. This is very funny timing. I said, can I ask you, where is the place? And she pulled out Google Maps, and her finger went down on exactly the same place that my friend had put his finger the night before. So I said, wow, me and him were already thinking this is, something funky is happening here. And she said, Joe, you're going to love this. My ex-partner who is living there currently, has built a professional music studio in the garage with all of the gear and amazing acoustics and everything. And I suddenly, the penny dropped, and I was like, oh my God, okay, something is going on here. And I said to her after hearing about the studio, I said, I've got to ask, does it have a little swimming pool maybe? And she said, yes, it's got a little swimming pool, nothing too big. And I said, perfect, let's have a look. So anyway, long story short, within a day or two, I came to have a look at this place. And I walk into the garden and I see my friend Pat. And I totally forgot he was living in Ibiza. They'd been together and they'd broken up. And it was his place and he was living here. And he's a friend of mine who's also an artist on the same record label as me, working in the same genre of music. We've actually made a track and released a track together in the past. So we were good friends. But I'd completely forgotten he lived here. So, within 24 hours, we went from nothing to the prospect and the reality, as it worked out, of moving in with a friend of mine with all this stuff that we'd put out there to the universe just the day before. When I moved here a few months after that, and I was telling this story to various friends, because I was buzzed about it, and I'd heard Ibiza was an island of accelerated manifestation, and I was still shocked at how clearly I'd experienced that in my own life. So when I was meeting people and sometimes sharing my experience, I was surprised at how many people were coming back to me with their own stories that were nothing less than no less surprising than what happened to me. And that's when I realized that this island is full of a bit of magic.
Once you go inside the sea, problems disappear, no problems. You think about it, it's like, pop! There is some connection when you are in real life, problems, people getting angry, people mad, or you worried about the problems in your car or at home or office or paperwork, or you take your surfboard, paddleboard, floating device, you get inside the water, it connects, and peace. You always remember the first wave, and that was, I cannot describe the feeling, it was amazing. I remember the first wave I took. How I could stand up, how I ride the wave, was in Calanova, and it was amazing. I'm gonna remember that wave of my life. Was magic, was flying, was amazing. I was it was surfing the sea. I was standing up on the sea and a wave was quite big wave. I remember it quite big wave. It was small. I mean, maybe I was 13 years old, something like that. But that was a good feeling. I love it. Ibiza is the best place to have a paddleboard. You need the paddleboard in Ibiza. You have, I mean, every place, every town you live, you are 10 minutes from the sea. And if the wind is coming from one side, you can go to the other side. It's always a chance to do the paddleboard. It's warm all year round, even in winter time. To do paddle surf, you don't really need the wetsuit. Surfing, you need the wetsuit, you are in, but paddle surfing, if you fall in, it's just refreshing. No. I mean, it's the best place, really small island, really easy to get everywhere. And the paddleboard in Ibiza, it's a must. There are places in Ibiza you cannot get walking. You need a kayak or paddleboard. So you can discover the island in a different way. I guess kayak, you're having a seat and that's it. That's what I think. And you can get to places you cannot get walking. You have caves, you have cliffs, you have crystal waters, you have places you can see just by the sea, or boat, or paddleboard, not walking. Yeah, that was hard. I mean, lockdown at home. I live 30 meters from the sea, watching every day the sea. I mean, those days the sea was super flat and calm, and it was hard. I was in the balcony like, oh, look at that, the sea. I really need the sea. I love the sea. When I'm far away from the sea, I feel quite bad. So the lockdown was quite hard. I remember first Saturday we could go out with a paddleboard. That was amazing. I remember I just went in, I stay 100 meters from the sea, I sit down on the board, and maybe being there like half an hour, like doing anything just far away, no people, anything, just sea, my board, and me having a seat and relaxing. That was amazing. Actually, good goosebumps. It's every time I think it, I have the goosebumps. That was cool.
I've always been drawn to Kallionga for some reason. I don't know why. Well, Ibiza wasn't even on my radar. I had a group of friends in the UK that were coming over. They'd been coming for a long time, and they asked me if I wanted to join them, and I said, yeah, why not? And the experience changed my life. We went to the 10-year anniversary of Space down in Plaidombossa, and I witnessed a man called John Ulysses playing a set, and I turned around, I saw thousands of smiling faces, and I thought, I don't want to miss this again. Well, my journey here's been a little bit different to most. I mean, when I was in London, I was in the money market, so I always had a financial background. But my passion was always scuba diving. And I came here on the holiday in 1998, and I tried to go scuba diving, and I couldn't find a dive centre. And then I had a plan in my head to come back and open up a dive centre. But I didn't know there was already 28 here. So when I came back the following year, I worked in a dive centre in Figueiredas. Met some lifelong friends, and 2 years later I had 5 dive centres on the island. 15 years of diving. With the 5 dive centres, you know, the living the dream phrase was starting to become a nightmare. You know, prices here were very expensive, as we all know. Cost to open up businesses, and the fact that the season's only 6 months long, we only had 6 months to make money for 12. So it was just becoming a little bit of a burden. I had a family, and I was offered a job in real estate, and I took it, and I thought, I've got nothing to lose, and 7 years later I own my own real estate company. I had my first business here. I had my first dive centre here in Callionga on the beach. I met my wife, the mother of my daughter. My daughter was conceived here in Callionga. Her eyes shine when she's here. For me, it's always had a natural draw. It's just got a beautiful feeling about it, a beautiful soul. It's really hard for me to put my finger on it, but every time I drive into Callionga, a smile appears on my face. So yes, I came back from Australia and I went to a little bar in Callionga, and I was in the bar for about 5 minutes, and I noticed a lady making coffees, and all I saw was a sleeve of tattoos down her right arm. And the guy I was with, I said, "Look, do you know who that is?" And he said, "I have no idea, I've never seen her." I said, "I'll tell you right now, I'm going to marry her." And then she turned around, and that was it, and we've been together ever since. So you don't get those, or you do get those stories around the world, but you know, you hear a lot of them here in Ibiza. I think Ibiza as an island is a love story. It's a place of romance. It's a place of bringing people together and making people smile, and you only smile when you're in love.